Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, I call to order the Millersville Board of Commissioners, January 19th, 2021 at 5:32 p.m. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and the pledge. Pastor.
Would you join me as we begin our time together with prayer? Father, we come before your presence with thanksgiving, grateful hearts, overwhelmed, almost mortified by your love for us and your goodness to us, for your mercy and for your grace. And Father, did you hear that? Well, I prayed, but did you hear that? Thank God you didn't hear that. That was my phone. Y'all, in the middle of a prayer, never had that happen. I've got it on. But we're going to continue. You know what I've got on my phone? Just so you'll know, a motorcycle engine. Father, you've got a sense of humor, and that is for sure, and we're thankful that you do, because there's a lot of humor down here. And so, Father, thank you that we can come together as a community, as a city, and discuss business together. We're still in a free America. Thank you for that, Father. Bless this nation. Bless our nation's leaders. Bless this community and its leaders. And Father, prosper us. Help us above all things to honor you, to thank you, to praise you, and Father, to seek you with our whole heart, mind, and soul, to love you supremely and love our neighbor as ourselves. Pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Item number 3, approval of minutes of December 15th, 2020 regular commission meeting. Call for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of December 15th, 2020 regular commission meeting.
Is there a second?
A second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Abstain. Those absent.
Item number 4, approval of the December 2020 financial report. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve the December 2020 financial report as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 5, public hearing on ordinance 20-751 to abandon city-owned right-of-way on Creekside Development. I'll now open it up for public hearing if there's anyone that wishes to speak. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Item number 6, second reading of ordinance 20-751, an ordinance to abandon city-owned right-of-way on Creekside Development. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve on second reading ordinance 20-751, which is an ordinance to abandon city-owned right-of-way on Creekside Development.
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote, and it'll be a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Long.
Aye.
Commissioner Template.
Abstain.
And I will abstain as well. Item number 7, approve resolution 21-R-28, a resolution supporting the city's notice of intent to apply for an urban transportation planning grant from TDOT for the development of community and county-wide pedestrian bicycling master plan. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve resolution 21-R-28, which is a resolution supporting the city's notice of intent to apply for urban transportation plan grant from TDOT for the development of community and county-wide pedestrian bicycling master plan.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Just for public notice, how long is this supposed to be in what part of the city? And do we have a timeline? And do we have an amount of what maybe the grant might be?
The answer to all that is no. It is a planning grant, master plan, and we will find that out as the plan is developed. But no, the idea is just to put this plan together so that all the cities, it's a multi-city, multi-county grant that they will put together a plan, and they'll come up with a cost and a budget.
So this motion just puts us in with the multi-city?
That's right.
Anything further? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Item number 8, discussion on the new City Hall Commission chambers, casework design.
Okay, we've had quite a bit of discussion on this. I think where this project lays right now is that OHM is entering into discussions with Boger on a cost of what it would cost if we elected to go with that more moon-shaped or half or that curved design. And I just provided you all with some additional, the same information I've provided to you before. But what we're waiting for right now is to determine how OHM is going to recommend that we move forward on this. Don't have a confirmed price for it right now, but regardless what the price is, it's going to add another 30 days to the project to complete it if they are able to come in and do something like this for us. Brian is here. I don't know if I can say any more, Brian, than that. We just know that you guys are working with Boger on a price of what it would cost to go with that 9-seat chambers, commission chamber desk. So there's really not a decision to be made without knowing how much it's going to cost. But we do know if it, whatever the cost is going to be, we can expect another 30 days to the project.
So we are looking at the 9-seat.
Nope.
OHM is looking at the 9-seat.
Yes, yes.
Were we able to find any of the prior plans?
What I have given you on that is, of course, the plan with the proposed 9 chairs. Then I gave you a copy of the, I'm looking for a date. I gave you a copy of that. It says original plan. Mm-hmm. That is the most, what I call is the most accurate original plan that was given to us. It's in that clouded area with the yellow highlight. And you can see from that, it looks like what I've measured is about 140 inches across in that little U-shaped box there to the left of that clouded area. This is what I think is the original plan. And as you can see, there's probably enough for 5 seats. And what is that?
A little less than 12 foot.
Yeah. For 5 chairs, and then you'll see the boxes right on either end near the steps is where 2 additional people would sit. So, to say the least, I mean it's very crowded, very closed in, and in my opinion, very non-workable for what you guys need and what you want. So that is what I think is the original plan. If anybody has anything to add to that's my best guesstimate, best estimate on what the original plan was.
Do I see cabinets in here? Do I see cabinets behind? on
Yeah,
this
there are
drawing, on
cabinets,
this drawing?
there are cabinets behind there.
On this drawing right here?
Yeah, in fact, they are installed right now.
That's the reason I see.
They have been installed, yeah. So, I think, Brian, we're just waiting with bated breath. You guys give us a number, tell us what you can do and what, we'll just have to go from there. So I think, Mayor, all we can do at this point is table this discussion until we find out more information.
When will we find out? Well, my opinion is the first date, the move-in date we had was the 1st of December. Then it was the 1st of the year. Then it was the 1st of February. Now it's the 1st of March. Correct?
As of right now, the date has not changed. If the commission change, if you wish to move forward with the change in the commission chambers, that would extend 30 days, maybe.
So if we go with the original plan, we're still gonna be ready to move in by February the 1st.
That's correct.
Building be 100% completely done.
That contractor has not said that he needed to move that date off.
I was under the impression at the last meeting that we decided to go with what the original plan was, and not spend any money. That's what I was under the impression of.
I'd like to see what his money is for changing this over.
Well, we've been talking about it for 6 weeks and we hadn't got a price yet.
I understand.
So-
I agree with that, but I'd still like to wait till we get a price before we make a decision, for all of us to make a decision on whether we rebuild it or leave it like it is.
It's fine with me. I got my bucket ready.
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Gregory. Let's just wait and see how the money is, what it is, and
Well, all I'm saying is the move-in dates moved 3 times, and by waiting, it's fixing to move again. It's fixing to move to March 1st. There is no way they can finish that building by the 1st of February. They can't do it.
I agree with that too.
Can they finish the building by the 1st of February with the existing plans?
No.
Oh, really? Without any changes?
Without changes?
Contractor has alerted us.
I mean, you're talking about 12 days. There's no way.
Oh, I guess it is only
No.
12 days away.
They can't do it.
Yeah,
They won't be ready.
it's physically impossible.
Yeah, they ain't even started the top coat of the asphalt. There's absolutely no way. There's still a set of steps missing. The elevator's still not complete.
Well, I'm of the opinion that we leave it the way it appears, the way they have it situated right now, the shape that we don't want, this original plan, until such time as we hear what it's going to cost. If we want to change our mind at that point, because from my understanding, isn't this already made? Isn't everything already constructed anyway?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. This casework is I'd say 90% complete. So, but you think you can have something back to us by the end of this week?
I will try and deliver the string I can to you by Friday.
Okay.
I think Brian will be pulling teeth to get something, to be honest with you, get any pricing back from them. I just don't think it's going to happen. If it happens, you can say I'm wrong, but, just.
But the decisions that we make tonight, yeah, we want to move in ASAP, but we're going to have to live with this forever. So let's make sure that.
Well, we can pay for it now, or we can pay for it later. I believe is what the mayor has talked about last at our work session. That if we need to make changes, we can make them at a later date. Is that not what you said?
You can always make changes. It's just, to me, we've had 3 move-in dates and they've not come close to hitting one of them.
Okay, we not move everybody in on February 1st and leave this
Nope,
as it is?
I
Can't do it?
nope.
I wouldn't suggest that, because there's still got to be a lot of, if they're going to be working in there, I would not suggest that.
Well, if you can't meet the target date anyways, does it matter if you make the changes? What's another 30 days if you can't move in anyways?
Well, it's not the days, it's not the time, it's the casework that's already built. It's going to have to be done away with. So we're going to have to buy new casework twice. And if that building is altered to make it seat 9 chairs that go from wall to wall, there's a lot more than just casework that's got to happen. There's windows got to be tore out, doors that's got to be added, concrete that's got to be cut out.
So this was originally agreed upon, right? Is that?
Not in my mind, it wasn't.
And there's nothing in writing that says it was supposed to be a certain way, nothing that was signed off on? There's no record?
There was an
nothing?
original drawing of what the commission wanted, that seating went from wall to wall. That's the reason the ramp was in the back hallway.
Yeah.
What happened to it, I have no idea. So I've been looking through the minutes trying to find, I think I've found the right dates. It's just a matter of getting to City Hall and getting the recordings and listening to them. Me personally, I'm done with the changes with this contractor.
I guess I struggle paying for it twice if you paid for something that you didn't get. I
guess
struggle
the-
paying
yeah.
for it again.
I guess,
If originally it was supposed to be something different.
the question we have as a commission that we must decide is whether or not we want to utilize the existing casework and go ahead and finish out the commission room using these plans. In other words, that last page, or do we want to make a half moon seating? That's the decision that we have to make. Now, if we leave it the way it is right now, the casework is 90% completed. And so they technically could get it in the next 12 days or maybe the next 42 days, who knows? But if we change the casework to the half moon, it's going to take their subcontractor building that and finishing that casework. So,
Plus a lot of other subcontractors.
and a lot of other stuff too, as the mayor pointed out.
Yeah.
There's
For
going
that half moon to be there has to be concrete taken out. A window has to be removed, a door has to be added, a sidewalk has to be added, there will have to be a railing for that sidewalk. And then a whole new set of casework.
Do we have an estimate of about 60,000?
Excuse me, bro.
Was there an estimate of about 60,000 for the change order, if we were to do that change order? Has there been an estimate at all?
There hasn't been.
No.
It's guess. It's a guess. It's been a guess. That's it.
Been a guess?
Has been a guess.
Then the question we have to decide is, do we go with the way it is right now, or do we make the changes right now? What do y'all want to do? That's the question.
But I'd still like to see how much money's going to change it to, we'll have somewhere to stand, something to look at or think about. But on this plan set right here, the SK010, is that what it looks like now?
That's what it's supposed to look like, the one that says original plan.
Yeah, the one that says original plan across the top.
No, it's this one.
It's this one, but
It is, but that's what it looks like in here. I can't remember. I went over and looked, but I don't remember. Does it have that shape, or is it just a desk sitting there? Where desks, so many.
It's just a wall with casework behind it or a casework that's almost 12 feet long.
Well, this is 8 right here. Table.
Yeah. So it goes from about where Holly's sitting to the end of that table. We're really not going to be able to social distance there, not unless everybody brings their own bucket.
got a chair, bring the softball game, so I'll carry your bring.
Winston has a bucket I can borrow.
I know where there's one. Winston's got an extra one.
Well, we have 8 here tonight, unless lawyers here, then we have 9. So we're not, so that won't be enough room to have everybody sit at.
Yeah.
Originally, the way it's sitting right now.
I don't disagree. When all of OHM was sitting in front of us up at the other city hall, taking notes, you'd have think one of the notes would have been how many people sitting at that table. Apparently it wasn't.
At least 9 when the lawyer's here.
I move that we table this resolution until we get a quote
From OHM.
from Bolton. Is that right?
Is that his name, Boulder? What's that guy's name? The contractor.
Boger.
Boulder. That's right. I'll second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, I'm opposed. Item number 9, approve decal "In God We Trust" on the city police vehicles. Call for a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the decals "In God We Trust" on city police vehicles.
I'll go ahead and second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Got a little bit. I went and talked to Chief Palmer about this. The police department doesn't have any problem with it other than Metro used to have this on their cars and they took it off for whatever reason, because it maybe offended somebody.
I think it's just being neutral so you don't get sued. I mean, we get sued all the time, and if you are not very neutral, you open yourself up, whether it's from an employee, whether it's from somebody you're pulling over. I love the thought of the idea, but being a business owner and knowing what we deal with tenants, and you know, when Winston had his HVAC company, I mean, we were sued all the time for minuscule things that's just the world we live in. So, I mean, it'd be nice to say, yes, we're going to do this because this is what we want, this is what we believe. And I don't know that any of the police officers, I mean, I could get into a car and drive anything, whether I believed it or not. Like, that's just your job. You go to work and you do it every day. But that's just not the world we live in.
Yeah, I just brought it up because I did talk to our police chief, and I have no problem with it because it's on our money. And nobody sued the government yet, because in God we trust is on the money. But Chief Palmer, you want to add anything to this?
I said what I need to say here in the work session.
Well, there's other police departments that have it, and I haven't heard of them being sued.
Who else has got it?
Some other police departments.
Well, I'm sure there is.
I'm not really worried about a lawsuit, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
I mean,
Because somebody's going to complain.
like I
If you give
said,
$1 million, they're going to complain about it, so.
I have a problem with 2.8% of the people dictating to the other 97.2% how we need to live, how we need to act, how we need to think. And this country was based upon godly principles. This is the fabric of America. And that's my thinking on it.
I'm like Commissioner Template. I have no reservation whatsoever about putting "In God We Trust." In fact, I'm surprised that you didn't suggest putting it on all vehicles, including maintenance vehicles and things of that nature. The question I have, and going back to the work session, what Chief Palmer said and what I've seen in the real world, it does give me some concern. Even anytime you're sued, regardless of whether you win or lose, there's always a cost associated with that lawsuit. There's always the monetary cost, as well as a cost to I guess, the reputation, and I think in this case, it would benefit our reputation in a sense if you were sued. But these make me pause, because personally, I can go along with placing in God we trust. But from a professional point of view, I've got some concerns, and I know what you're saying. You know, the 2.8% of the people dictating to the rest of us, yeah, that bothers me too. But
They win lawsuits every day.
yeah, having been a lawyer for, what, 36 years or however long it is, longer than I wanted to be, I've seen lawsuits that, and I'm sure Ms. Template can tell you, that just seem ridiculous. And
they win them. I don't know how, but they do.
And there's more and more lawyers out there that are hungry, that will take on cases. And so that's the concern I have. I'll be honest with you, I'd rather you not make me vote on this, because
That's how I feel too. Like, I hate
yeah,
to vote
I
on it.
would want to vote yes, but I do have a concern about what the real world's like, and that's the concern I have. Just like those guys that came up here, you know, a few months back to protest up there at City Hall. You know, you get those kind of reactionists, and that's a concern I have.
And then
Now, am I buckling under to the world? I guess I am in a way, but I look at this, you know, I'm supposed to be a good steward of the city's money and
And
their
that's how I
budget.
feel too, because at some point, even if somebody would bring it up, whether they win or don't win, we're still out money that we're spending that essentially is not ours, taxpayer money. It's very frustrating, and I mean, I agree, like,
And,
right or wrong, I
the
mean,
concern I have also with Chief Palmer is, what if you were to hire a sheik? You know, that's a religion that they're not Muslims, there's nothing like that, but they do have their specific requirements as far as the headdress and their hair and everything else. And there's a lot of them that are police officers, because they are good police officers and they are loyal. I mean, are we going to offend a police officer that has a different religion?
Well, why don't we just quit having prayer before these meetings and send a pledge of allegiance, because these meetings are streamlined and somebody watching could be offended because we pray in Jesus' name. So I don't think we can live in a bubble. I think that this right here would send a message that the police department is more than about writing tickets or working rents or making arrests. Their values are the same as the citizens of Millersville.
I agree.
I agree too.
You're not going to say anything
Yeah.
that I don't agree with you.
You know, if you're so scared, and I don't mean
Well,
that in a bad
personally,
way.
I don't mind being told that I'm frightened of
Yeah,
the
well,
situation,
I don't
because
mean-
I've seen.
Yeah,
I didn't mean scared, but
we paid a
what
lot.
I'm saying is, you know, you can't walk around day in and day out thinking that you're going to get sued. Like I said, if you're going to do that, we need to quit having prayer for the meeting.
Well, let me put it this way. My job has always been to protect my clients
Okay.
and to prevent my clients from being sued. So how do I accomplish that? Well, I accomplish that by being, I guess, somewhat more conservative, looking at what the law says and what previous cases have indicated what possible result would occur if my client were sued. Now, as far as his personal standpoint, I don't care what people think. You know, be honest with you, I'll pray here at the meetings. I'll put it on my car. I don't care. It's my individual right. And I'm going to exercise my individual rights. And if you don't like it, you can tell me, but it's not gonna change my rights. But for my client, how do I protect usually a corporate client or something like that? How do I protect that client from frivolous lawsuits because of the Landlord-Tenant Act, which...
Or just employment. I mean, we just shelled out money to settle something out of court that.
And so that's my thinking. You know, I'm sort of that person that has two trains of thought going in my mind, because y'all know me. You know, I'll stand up for what I believe in. I don't care. But
I know that.
for my clients,
I know that.
I'm not so sure if I can advise my clients
Make it a
that
personal
this is a
choice.
good idea. You know, personally, you know, they can swing at me and I'll swing back at them. I don't care. But that's, you know, and I'm not trying to persuade you differently or anything. I just want you to think about it, and I know where you're coming from. And like I said, when I first started this little dialogue, personally, I agree with you 100%. But being that, then that lawyer takes over and it makes me throw in that conservative, you know.
Yeah, the decals, just for public notice, our interest, it's going on only on marked cars. Unmarked cars won't get it. And the price of this will be under $500. I think it's pegged out around $400 for the decals. They're 3 foot long and about 2.5 inches across, 3 inches across. And they'll be in the back glass only on the patrol cars. And personally, I have no problem with it. Anytime I can honor the God that created this earth and myself and y'all as well, I'm going to do so.
Anyone else? So how do y'all want to vote? Y'all want to just vote, or you want a roll call vote?
Might be close. Just do a roll call, please.
All right. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. Commissioner Gregory.
I'm voting aye.
Votes Vice Mayor Bell.
I'm going to take the chicken's way out and abstain.
Commissioner Long.
I vote yes.
I'm gonna abstain as well.
Well, y'all gonna put it right here, ain't you?
Yep.
I'm gonna vote no, and I have no idea how that's gonna work out. I don't know whether it passes or fails. I just don't know. I'll need a lawyer here to tell me.
I think I'd be more comfortable.
It's not a majority of the
It
quorum.
has to be a majority of a quorum.
Well, yeah, it has to be a majority of the quorum. The quorum's met. So it's not a majority of the quorum, so
So
it
it-
fails to make the vote.
Okay, it fails by a vote of 2-1 with 2 abstentions. Item number 10, citizens' comments. Anyone here wishing to speak? No, that young lady wants to speak.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Good, good. Thank you.
I am Melissa Clark. I'm the Millersville Public Library, representing Ward, Millersville Highway. And I'm gonna take this mask off as soon as I finish passing these out. We have been only open for curbside service just before Christmas. I recently, last week, we had the library directors in Sumner County, and I met with Anthony Holt, and he has suggested that we be very cautious in terms of letting people into the building. The larger libraries are, Gallatin has been able to stay open, but for us, because we're such a small area, there's really just that main room. We've been doing curbside since before Christmas because we wanted to let people travel and let any virus, anything that they might have caught kind of go to the wayside. Hopefully, definitely by the beginning of February, we're planning on being open back at 50% capacity, which has not been an issue for us. And that's almost 150 people. We don't usually have that many people in the building at one time, so it's not really a problem. We are still offering all of our services though. So if someone needs to use the computer, we have laptops that they can take and they can either use in our little foyer area or they can take in their cars and use that way and just hook up to our wireless. So all of our services are still available. It's just virtual, essentially. So I've included our January calendar. So we do have some new programs that we're starting up. One is a virtual book club. We're doing it by theme. So we're gonna see how this goes. We're doing it as a Zoom meeting, and people can basically pick whatever they want to read that falls under the theme. This month we're doing science fiction because it's National Science Fiction Month. So if anybody wants to join us, that's going to be at 1:30 on the 30th, which is the last Saturday of the month. We have switched over to T-Mobile for our hotspots, and we've actually saved a little bit of money there. So I've added another hotspot, so we have 15 now that are in circulation. And that the hotspots are for anyone that has a library card that's in good standing. We've also started our Take a Hike Millersville Club, which is a virtual walking club. And what people can do is they walk throughout the week and they log their minutes, and we have a little program where they can log it. And they get prizes, or they get their name in for prizes for the month as long as they've been active throughout the month. So we're just trying to encourage people to get outside and get some exercise. On the back, and this is my favorite dog. For February, we're not going to be able to do the sock hop like we did last year for Valentine's Day. So what we thought might be fun is to do a scavenger hunt of local businesses around the area. So the way that this would work is your business signs up with us, and we give you one of these. So everybody has their own code, and we're going to list scavenger hunt clues, and they have to go around and figure out which code matches up with which clue, and it has a QR code on it, so they can use their phone and just record their answer right there. And then this will go in for a date night prize basket at the end of the month. But we're just trying to get people kind of out and about and seeing what different businesses are in Millersville that they might not be familiar with. They don't have to come inside. The goal would be to have this like on your door or in a window where somebody can see it from the outside. But because you have your own code, they do actually have to find your business. So they can't just like walk up and take a picture and go. So on the back of this, what I'm asking is any business that wants to get involved, just either call us or email us, and we will put together your own little decal and get that to you. And we're going to do it throughout the month of February. So that's all I've got for you today. Any questions?
What is it? You've got a lot of this down here, and I'd like to know what it is. Take a hike.
Yes, so that's our walking club. Every week, the staff, we're highlighting different trails that we like to go walk on, just to kind of encourage people to get out. And we're trying to find trails that are within 30 minutes of Millersville, so if people wanted to go off, so like Bledsoe Creek State Park would be a good one, going out to Mosswright Park, just different areas. So we're just trying to get people out and exercising. It's mostly an excuse for the staff because we need to get outside and exercise. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Citizens? Go ahead. Charles Hedges, 13 Frontier Lane. We'll be very careful how I say this because I love you guys with all my heart. I'm going to have to be totally honest and say that what we just witnessed here in this bubble. I pray for this city all the time, and I pray for you. I pray for God to bless you and to bless your leadership that will provide to the city for the citizens. For God to bless you, it's a given that we want to bless Him.
That's right.
And if we fear being sued or whatever it may be, more than we fear God, in a reverential way, in a good way, it might send a message to heaven. It is not perhaps the message we want to send to heaven. I respect your views, and I love you. And I will continue to pray for God to bless you. But I hope that you'll come to understand that honoring God is the first duty.
That's right.
Of all of them. And a government that fails to honor God. It's kind of like Ronald Reagan said. The nation that is no longer under God will be the nation that's going to control us. we're a long way down as a nation. I want the city of Millersville to rise up and be a beacon of hope and light. And when we fail to publicly demonstrate in every way we can that our allegiance and our honor to God is first, we may be sending a message that we will forget. But I love you, and I respect you and honor you, and I will continue to pray for you. But I just had to share it. And don't hate me, and don't stop asking me to come lead in prayer, because I always need to do that. This community is in my heart. And I share what I should share with you because it's written personal heart. Because I feel that tonight we may have hurt the heart. And I love you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Sure.
Every 105 Echo Lane, I'm not going to offend you either, but I have an opinion. And that is let me ask you this first, Keith. If I bought the stickers, not the city, would it be the same results?
Yes.
Okay. Now, another fact. This has nothing to do with how that Shiite that you said, or sheep, or whatever it is. He's seen this on this box on that car, and I'm sure I have confidence in that gentleman right there. If he said something to him, he would tell him he didn't need it in Millersville. Because he had the one-track mind. And it wasn't on God, it might be on his law or whatever they call it. But I just think it is a shame that in the United States of America, I can't put his godly trust on any vehicle we got. Can we put the Millersville, Tennessee, United States of America on it?
Yes, I would say so.
Or we're afraid we're going to get sued from all these aliens that we have in our region that's innkeepers and stuff.
The difference is what we can do individually is not the same as what we can do collectively as a government. The government is restricted more than the individual is. And I like that. And I personally like
I understand.
a restrictive government.
And I'm not trying to chastise any of you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not offended. I'm good. I'm good at my decision.
And we love both of you. And I always
Yeah,
will.
I don't have
but,
any issue. I mean, for me, it's hard for me to make a decision that I'm not personally writing a check for. Like, if I was the one that, if we all personally took accountability that if we get sued as individuals voting for it, and I could write a check when we do get sued, and I'm not spending taxpayer dollars to fight that fight, I would probably vote differently, but that's not the case. I mean, and I don't feel comfortable, and I'm not embarrassed to say or ashamed of saying that I don't feel comfortable. Just because I believe something doesn't mean that I feel I have the right to impose that on somebody else's checkbook.
Oh, I agree.
So being somebody who's been sued and having to write checks for people who didn't deserve those checks. So I struggle with that.
I the same way as you five people would be.
So for me personally, I mean, if I could write the check and say the city of Millersville, and make that decision, I wouldn't care. I mean, I would get, whether I believed it or not, if I took a job and knew that was my job, whether I was a sheik or whatever, that was the responsibility that I took when I took that job, and I would drive that car and I'd go to work every day and do what I have to do. But that's, I mean, I just know being on the other side of the coin, having to write those checks for people that have sued us and settling, and it's still costing money, because whether you're right or wrong, it's going to cost you less just to settle. And I don't feel comfortable doing that with taxpayers' money, not at all. And I'm not ashamed to say that.
Well, the thing about it is, you go into any federal building and you got plaques up, "In God We Trust." So I didn't really think it would be a problem.
Oh, I didn't think it was either. I didn't really think about it until after that first meeting when you first brought it up. And I thought, oh, that'd be, I'm okay with that. That's a good idea. It doesn't cost very much, whatever. But thinking more on it later, and I actually didn't even talk to Chief until tonight, but that time spread that I had to think about it, and we just had to write a $20,000 check to somebody to settle because it was going to cost more to continue. And right or wrong, the law is the law, whether we like it or not, so it doesn't matter how I feel personally.
But right or wrong, but you think we would lose though?
Do I think we would lose? I don't know.
Look at what's going on right now. I guess that's what's scary. I mean, look at.
I don't have a problem with prayer at our meetings. I mean, there's the laws as I've seen them go back and forth, especially in Tennessee, that we have a right to have prayer, and I want to have prayer. But there are other laws that basically say that if you put it on a community-owned vehicle, in other words, that's not my personal property. That's not your personal property. That's owned by the taxpayers of this city. If you put it on a taxpayer-owned vehicle or piece of property, you are stepping over into an area that you have to comply with the civil rights laws, with the religious organizational laws, and all those other laws. And if we were sued, most of the cases that I've seen in Tennessee is when the ACLU has sued for something like that, they've settled it. And the way they've settled it is the city has had to pay for the ACLU's attorney's fees, which usually about $25,000, provided the city agree to quit doing whatever it was doing. Now, I'd rather not be, and let me tell you something, I'm not big government. I'll be honest with you, I really am one of those people that believe the best government is the less government. And here we are sitting on this board. That being said, I'm concerned, as Commissioner Template said, of imposing my personal beliefs or the beliefs of the 5 members of this board onto the taxpayers of this city by putting it on public property. Now, will we get sued? I would hope not, but that's something that if the city was my client, I would advise against it. But if they want to do it, then so be it. Now I have to figure out a way to defend them. And how can I be successful defending them? Right now, the way the law sets, it doesn't look like I could defend them to the point of being successful. I could defend them like what happened was at Humboldt, where the ACLU came in there and essentially ended up paying $25,000 in attorney's fees, and they quit having prayer. I don't want anybody to approach us about having prayer.
Yeah, I know they stopped it in schools, so they stopped it in the cities. So
And as far as I was on December the 2nd, 1992, I was touched by God. And I promise you, I have never felt a closer relationship to God from that point on. And I may not act like it all the time, y'all, and that's just me. And God accepts me for being who I am. I've known David and his family. I've went to the Missionary Baptist Church, wherever. But going to church didn't save me. I was saved later on. And I pray every single day. I thank God when I get up in the morning. But I'm like Commissioner Template. What I do personally, and because I have the experience I have in the business world and in the legal world, this gives me a concern. And Commissioner Template has that in the business world. And I've represented people that For example, they had E&O coverage, and their limits would be $10,000. And it's amazing how the attorneys on the other side would agree to settle it for $9,000. And they do it all the time.
Yep.
Now, that's on an individual basis. And I would tell my client, you need to settle it for $9,000, otherwise it's going to cost you a whole lot more. But if it's a matter of principle, which I hear a lot, you're going to have to pay for that principle.
That costs a whole lot more. We've done that too.
And that gets expensive. So it's up to you. Here's A and here's B. And unfortunately, I've had to tell clients that my recommendation would be to settle it, or if you want to go to trial on it, we'll go to trial on it. But it's going to cost you probably about $25,000 altogether.
Well, I thank y'all for y'all's time and for your wisdom and how you talk business-wise. This was a business, even in a city, but still business.
It's still, that's the way I look at it, it's
I
business.
appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Anyone else?
Caleb Bell, 38 Road, and I just want to confirm, I agree with Preacher and the other gentlemen. Thank you, I revisited it. There's enough open ones, and somebody's going to sit, they're going to sit for a while after issue that. In Tennessee, you can get it out of the trust on the plate. Yes, it's optional, but it's optional if you don't count calls, so you know, just stay out there, seeing. But most communities out west that have stuff coming down to the political correctness, the place begin to quit. I think you got to revisit it because if it had been someone like that, it was good. And all the liabilities the city pays on, I think it's one I would take on because if you want the community to stay more family-oriented based like that, I stand with that. I just wanted to say I stuck with him, I wish I'd revisit it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Item number 12 is, or item number 11 is commissioners' comments. David?
Yeah, I've got some. I'd like to thank Brother Charles Anderson for letting the Lions Club use his church. We put enough toys out to, I believe it was 127 children.
That's awesome.
They got free toys here in the city. And he let us use his church. He's got a beautiful church. It was immaculate. It was so clean, and I hope we left it that way for you. But I just publicly wanted to thank Millersville First Baptist Church this afternoon. Yes, sir. You're more than welcome. Another thing, I think we as commissioners, I've been to the chief of police, I've been to Mr. Colley, and I've talked a little bit to Tim today about things that are facing our city. And this being first meeting of the year, it would be a good time to think about what we need to do. Public Works is going to have to be moved eventually. The police department is going to have a new office eventually. And with all the new homes coming in for Mr. Reynolds' property, we're going to have to enlarge and have a full-time fire department. And this is just FYI. I just want everybody to be thinking about this. And the properties that we have, city properties, the one across the street, I mentioned it to Mr. Colley, and Sergeant Watson, Bob Watson, I mentioned to him and about maybe having the police department across the street from their city hall, since that is city property, but it's in the floodway. And Sergeant Watson suggested, well, build it on stilts and park the police cars beneath it, because you can build a road in floodway and have the building up probably as high as 31W. The chief recommend this is just think about this stuff is have a way to get into the front of the building from 31W. And I thought that was a good suggestion. And another thing we need to be thinking about at our city hall that we're going to eventually, and the chief mentioned this to me, and they give me a lot of good information. we're gonna run out of parking pretty quick at our city hall, our new city hall. So that's another thing I'd like for the commission to be thinking about, what we need to be doing, looking at. And some other properties that we have, we need to be thinking about what we need to do with them. The one up on Bethel Road is there where the red light across from there. I don't know how we can get that publicized out and maybe have a business come in and develop that property. It's a perfect place right there at the red light. And that's, just wanted to see what y'all thought about it. We can be thinking on this. Did I leave anything out? Mr. Colley, did I leave anything out?
Nope, I think you touched on most of it.
Okay, but I thought it'd be good for us, and our mayor thought the same thing. We should be thinking about this stuff. It's going to come to our table one day, and we're going to have to make a decision. And I think us commissioners, and I think all of us are doing this, is we need to think 2 or 3 years down the road for the development of our city and for the betterment of the city. And I guess that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Bell? Mr. Long?
Yeah, I've got a few things. I know that we've gone through a paving program of the streets, but there's still a lot of streets that's got a bunch of potholes. Do we have a hot mix system in the city that we could patch these holes?
I believe so.
Sir?
I believe so.
Yeah, we can get hot mix.
Yeah, there's a big hole on Williamson Road, Slater's Excess Road. And again, I'm new, so I don't know really what we have access to.
Typically, if we see one or if the public sees one, they call it in. They'll either give it to the front office ladies or we will give it to Steve and the information will get back to Jerry.
Okay.
And I'll just say, I don't know if you got a copy of our master road list, street list when we were doing those streets. The idea was to get this project done, and that's one of the comments I was going to make, that we do have, did get our streets all paved and striped that was in that last project. And I don't want to say for sure, but I'm pretty sure we're under budget on that, maybe a few dollars. But our idea was to go to that master list and start looking at the ones that need to go next and start putting a plan together whenever that comes around. But while we're doing that, we'll be able to get out and see some of these places. But absolutely, we're open. If you guys are driving around, whoever's driving around, call us, let us know. We may not go on that street for weeks and weeks, but if you see a hole out there that needs attention, call us, let us know. We'll get out there and give it some attention.
Okay. Another thing, I know that this 31W is a state highway, but some of those holes within the city limits, pretty good size.
The state takes care of those.
Okay. Who needs to be contacted to get DTOT out here?
You just have to
Just call
contact
me.
TDOT.
Just call me and I'll call. I'll call or Jerry will call. We can contact TDOT on that.
I didn't know if you had to get with the representative in this area or one, Okay.
Blame it on Brian, Tom.
Pardon?
Blame it on Brian.
Yeah. And another thing too, I checked with Brandon on this. There's a house over on Lane Bray that burned, and it hasn't been, leveled. The property hadn't been leveled. A lot of varmints there, kids, chance of getting hurt. And I checked with Brandon to see if there might be an arson investigation, and because it's been so long, the house is still there. What can we do to expedite getting that house leveled so it's not an eyesore?
I don't know that the house has to be leveled. That house has got all concrete walls. It's got 10-inch concrete walls, so I don't know that they'll have to level it.
Okay. The structure above the concrete walls, can't that be?
It all burn away.
Sir?
It all burn away. Everything that's left is concrete. All of the exterior walls in the basement and the house it's a concrete system. I don't know that they necessarily would have to tear that concrete down because there is no danger of it falling.
I haven't been up there. I just driven by several times, and
I know it took them 10 years to build the house, so it might take them 10 years to tear it back down. There's over 1,000 yards of concrete in that house.
Is that the time schedule that Commissioner Template has, 10 years?
I doubt it.
I was told that that house had some additional settlement issues with the insurance company, that they were not doing anything because they had just come to an impasse, and they had lawyers talking about it back and forth before they would agree to let it be completely demolished or done anything to it.
Fires are real tricky. When my shop burned, it had to sit there for 6 weeks. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't even go in it because of insurance and lawyers and such type people.
They'll get their money's worth.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the rules is on how long it can be there. As far as varmints, there's varmints everywhere. And far as kids getting hurt, all I'll say is their mom and daddy will take a little better care of them, and they wouldn't be over there. They're trespassing if they go over there.
Yeah, that is
Do we know if the insurance company has purchased the house?
I have no idea.
No, I don't know. I just know the word it was given was they were at an impasse on going forward with it.
Well, he's already gotten paid for the burning of the building, the house. So I guess everything's finalized, just getting.
I don't know. I don't know if he has or if he hadn't. I have no idea. I guess that would be a question for the codes department.
I'll look into it.
I do know that years ago, Hendersonville, up there off of Cherokee Road, that little knob point, I believe, I can't remember the name of it, house burned down there, a lake home, and it sat there for about 8 months. And the city of Hendersonville got a little bit tired of it, so they notified the homeowner as well as the insurance companies and gave them a notice essentially that y'all need to be cleaning this up within a certain amount of time. You know, we've waited 8 months. We'll be willing to give you another 60 to 90 days to get it resolved or get the house cleaned up or get this lot cleaned up. Afterwards, we are going to start fining you or bringing you into court for violating our ordinances.
which is good.
And our codes are written the very same way.
Yeah, and ours is patterned after Henderson.
Yes, they're written the very same way, so.
Yeah, and it basically says it's $50. It's not much, but it's $50 a day for every day that it remains.
Yeah.
And the insurance company ended up buying the property from the homeowner and clearing it away and then sold it at a profit as far as the land, because it was lakefront property, you know. And it just sat there. I think all in all, it took about a year. But I do know Hendersonville did that, and based on that ordinance that we have, it's almost verbatim is what Hendersonville is.
Well, I was thinking that I'd heard that that's how it can be expedited to get it taken care of.
It just so happened I had a friend that lived 2 houses away from it, and he, you know, it was an eyesore for them, you know, every day they came home.
Yeah. I mean, there's some nice homes over in there, so, but anyway. One other thing, and I'm gonna shut up. I was going down Slater's Creek this afternoon, and down there on the right at 1442, there's a trailer up on the bank, up on the hill, and the people live there have made a dumping site down the hill there. There's plastic milk cartons. You can see where that they've just, at some point in time, they just throw stuff down and it looks like a dump. When it's grassy, I've never seen it, but when everything's dead, I mean, it sticks out like a sore thumb, so.
Again, that'd be something for the codes department.
Codes.
They can rectify that problem.
Okay. I'm done.
Christina?
I don't have anything else.
I got one more thing, Tim, I meant to say, I'm sorry. For us to be looking at, I forgot to tell you this, down the road, interstate side of Fire Station number 2, if we decide one day maybe that would be a good place to purchase property to expand Fire Station 2 with more bays and a place for them to have a 24-hour service, bathroom, showers, place to eat, place to sleep for the new firemen. But we're headed that way, and we just, well, not wait to get here. I'd rather go ahead and have some kind of little plan up, something that we can have to work together with to protect our city and keep our city safe. And I forgot to say that, and I just want to let y'all think about that too. Thank you, Tim.
The only thing I've got, out of respect for the pastor and the other citizens, the reason I voted no, my faith is my business, and I won't explain it to anybody. I was elected to represent everybody in this city, and if there's one person in this city that does not believe in that, that's their choice. That flag says they have that choice, and their freedom was fought for. And the people, the majority of people that I have spoke to within the city, and I won't mention names, does not want that sticker in these police cars. So that's the reason I voted the way I did, and that's just how I feel about it. City manager's comment.
A couple of things. You all knew we were doing a huge open records request based on an EEOC complaint. We have completed that. We did have to get an extension to get all the papers redacted and ready to go, and they'll be picked up tomorrow. We've alerted our attorney Odom to contact their side, and he's going to do that and have them come pick that up.
How many pieces of paper was it?
It's a box full. Also, on that claim, Public Entity Partners has picked up that case. A lawyer, Tracy Knight, is representing our side. She's with the firm Bastion Nolan of Clarksville. I don't know if she's at Springfield or if she's at Clarksville, but she's taken over that, and she's been very diligent so far. So I think we've worked some issues through with this week. We've had several new applicants and submissions for the police department. We're looking at doing some interviewing right away, maybe not this week, but we're scrubbing those applications. We'll probably start interviewing next week. We did have one of our public works new people, Cody Lanson, left us and took another job, and we've got resumes coming in to replace him, so we'll be doing those interviews. A couple this week, and one for a couple of people for stormwater applicants. I'll be interviewing 2 of those tomorrow. So we're still looking to add some new people to the roles here. One last thing I want to tell you about. Friday was a very interesting day. We got a call from Channel 2 that we had released a car on one of our seized vehicles. I don't know if you all know about this. Everybody know about the Channel 2 story?
No,
Anyway,
I'm not aware of it.
The story was that we had released a car, sold a car through Gov Deals, and when the owner got home, he found a substance in the trunk he thought was to be drugs. He called the Madison, Alabama Sheriff Department. They came over and looked at it, did an investigation. About that time, Channel 4 News of WHNT in Huntsville showed up, and they determined that it was 2 kilos of heroin. So they go out and put a news story out on the news. So that afternoon, about 3 o'clock, I walk in to see Dustin. We're writing a statement to give to the press, And he said, I just got a call from the sheriff's department in Madison, and that substance they found was not drugs. They've tested for everything, and it's not drugs. So we revised and updated our statement, and it was put on the late news on Friday that they had jumped the gun and reported it to be drugs, which it was not drugs, and then they pulled that story down, and I hadn't seen it since all weekend. So anyway, that in case you hadn't seen it, that was what was on the news on Friday, and that was the end of it. And I believe we have released most of our cars, our seized vehicles, haven't we, Chief? Have we gotten all our seized vehicles sold?
I do not think they've all been released yet. Sergeant Watson's working on that. I know he released 6 or 7 maybe today. And there was 17 of them, I think, that were actually going to auction. So I know he released some before the weekend, so I'm not sure exactly how many we still have left.
We know we released one to Alabama.
Yeah.
You find any seeds?
I think if I'm not, I would be willing to just guess based on what I've seen there. We've probably got maybe 3 to 5 left that still haven't been picked up yet. I think there's a couple of them that haven't been paid for yet. People want them on the auction and they get paid for.
We're searching them before they leave now.
Touche. And also, we are looking at a better process, even though there was nothing in that car that we were worried about. We're going to make a little better effort to go through the cars and make sure there's nothing in the future.
We do sell them as is, right?
We sell them as is, yes. And truthfully, I mean, when we go through them, if there's junk in the car, that junk has to stay in the car because the owner might come back up and look for it. So we don't just take everything out and throw it away. We bag it up and it's theirs. So when we sell it, it belongs to the seller.
Oh, wow.
Kit and caboodle. That's all I had for this time. One thing, David brought up all these projects that we want to look at, and I think one of our work sessions, we may, Mayor, if it's okay with you all, set up a work session to do a strategic planning session. Maybe before the work session, we can call it as a work session meeting and go through these ideas and projects that we have. And then we do need to start looking at the fire station too and some other things. So we'll put together an agenda and we'll get to as many of those as we can and try to build a plan around that.
Sounds good.
What about, is MTAS going to have their,
No, Gary Jack will come by.
Yeah, according to Gary, he's still planning on doing it, but he has been out sick. I don't know if it was the COVID, but he has been out sick. But it's hard. I hadn't talked to him, but I've emailed him a couple of times. But when he was here last, he said he was planning on having that MTAS session with us.
okay.
When did you have it last year?
Right around the first of the year.
January, February.
Okay, so we just need to get it planned. I'll work on that.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
Good night. Hi, brother.